I guess to some extent the pressure got to me a bit, and I was also tired, which is not a good combination. And in general, I just made a lot of poor decisions, both practically and also purely chess decisions that I don't normally make. So I don't know. I think also some credit has to be given to my opponents, obviously, but in general I don't lose those games. So
I mean, when you say poor decisions on the chessboard, do you mean in terms of your opening choice, or do you just mean in the middle of the game?
no, just in the middle of the game, because I mean the openings were not spectacular, but they weren't that bad either. But no, I mean I just made so many poor decisions in those games, and I think in my first 11 games I made just I made many more bad decisions in those games that I made in the first 11 rounds combined. So.
Yeah. I mean, how did you feel after your loss against Ivanchuk? Did you feel you could come back?
Yeah, I felt like I could come back, of course, but I was extremely disappointed, and I was still reliving all of the mistakes that I made, and just cursing myself for being an idiot.
This cursing, did it continue during your game against Rajapov when you were essentially getting nowhere?
Yeah, I mean, at some point during around the first time control, I was feeling a bit desperate, and I didn't have any energy, and there was nothing in the position. So, but at some point, I managed to pull myself together and tell myself that at least I can try and make 10 pointless moves and see what happens. And eventually he made some minor mistakes, and the position got more and more unpleasant for him. Obviously there was a huge scope for error for him, but eventually he overstepped the limits.
I mean, at what moment in the game did you feel him going? You know that feeling when you can feel your opponent is going to crumble. Was there a particular moment?
Well, I thought that exchanging rooks was an improvement for me, although the position is still completely drawn. But then, he doesn't really have any active plan apart from playing f3, which he doesn't want to do because he wants to draw comfortably. And at some point I managed to do what I wanted to do, put the knight on e5, and at some point he panicked and went a4, which is probably not such a bad move. I think it's still a draw, but then we get some kind of race, and with just a few minutes on his clock, which is what he had at that point, it's too difficult.
When you came into the press room after the game and you high-fived Espen, I don't think I've ever seen you so expressive after one of your victories.
No, I mean, I was really just filled with joy. I had worked so hard during the game for that win, and it was such an important win as well. Things were going wrong, and then they turned out so well. So that was huge.
Did you feel that you underestimated the nature of the tournament? I mean, in other tournaments you play very much the same, but there's always joy or pleasure in playing. And here at some point this pleasure vanishes because it's all about qualifying.
Yeah. No, I mean, to be honest, I mean, the last few rounds, they weren't much fun. So, for most of the tournaments, I managed to keep a balance between being focused and also relaxed and to have fun. But you know, at the end, that was too much.
So have you actually ever really experienced a tournament like this in a sense? And was this kind of a shock for you? Was it a surprise how tense it became?
Yeah, but it was also sort of my own fault. In that I made things difficult for me. I mean, if I hadn't lost to Ivanchuk, it would still not have been an easy thing to do, but just losing a game at such an important moment was a huge blow for me, and it just made it so much more difficult psychologically.
Was it also annoying to lose against him, who lost on time against other people?
Yeah, of course, but he played well against me, and I mean, I didn't get why he was losing all those games on time. That seemed to me, you know, a little unprofessional for such a huge tournament.
That must have been an immensely complicating factor in the last round, because you don't know which Ivanchuk is going to sit opposite Kramnik.
No. Well, but I didn't really. I mean, I was following his game, but I didn't make any decisions based on that, and I knew that I couldn't change it either. But I thought from the opening on, he got the sort of position he likes to play, and he played it very well. So
is it also a thought that you didn't allow yourself to have, like before the tournament, that people said to you playing against 9 Soviets, let's not think about that?
Yeah, and I mean, I cannot do anything about. You know, there are certain things I cannot change, and
but there's always a danger that creeps in.
It's impossible to block it completely, but you know, these are I think very good, decent people, and that makes it easier to deal with.
You've never been a fan of candidates in the match format, and you like the tournament. But in this tournament, you didn't win against the best players, and it was decided by basically 2 losses. Do you still think that? Oh, of course, everybody's happy that you won. Probably the best player in the world, you know, fighting for the becoming world champion. So, but are you still a fan of this format, or?
Yeah, I think
could it be controversial? I mean,
no, but
if anybody else would have.
I think it's still good that we have this tournament format, because it gives the strongest players a great chance to win it, and you saw at the end it was definitely the strongest players that were fighting for the first places, and so I thought that was good. I mean, at the end, I couldn't deal with the pressure properly, so it was a little bit by accident that I won. And I mean, you can argue about the tie-break rules as well, but they were there. Probably they will be changed the next time.
What do you think about the tie-break system?
I mean, I had nightmares during the tournament about losing it on tiebreak, so that must be an awful feeling. So.
But would you have preferred like blitz games, or what do you think about?
I think just having like the same tiebreak format that you have in World Championship matches would be fine.
What do you think it would have done to you if you had not qualified?
I don't want to think about that. So
That must have been in these nightmares.
yeah. So, but I was most of all focusing on qualifying and winning the tournament, not on how to not qualify.
Yeah. But when you were fighting against Rajabov, were you drawing on your last mental or your last physical strength?
I mean, both. Since the last 24 hours before that, I mean even more. With the rest, I have been so difficult. So at that point, I had to use the last of my strength, and apparently I didn't have any left for the last game, which was a bit of a shame.
The last game. What moment did you think, okay, this is going? I mean, what were your feelings, in the middle, around about move 30, something like this, when things started to turn?
I thought my position was still good, but I knew that things were out of control. And I was, in general, very unhappy about that situation. But I mean, what can I do? For instance, when I played knight g4, I did it because I thought it was the best move. And to some extent, I think that's what you have to do. You have to have that belief in yourself. Although obviously it can backfire quite badly.
Do you have the feeling that before or during the tournament you did anything wrong? I mean, anything that could have saved you from the situation you got into?
I think again, probably during the game with Ivanchuk, at some point I was just too casual because after all, I wasn't exactly used to losing. So I always thought that if things go slightly wrong, I will rectify it by making some strong defensive moves. So it was a wake-up call for me, for sure. And
not only for you, because in the press room it took people a long time to really accept that you were losing. They said, well, he will find something.
Digga, I'm sorry, but we have to stop now.
Okay.
Okay.
Magnus, only one question. And what difference between you, that is #1 and world title rating, and candidate to match Anand?
What's the difference? The difference is that I've been winning tournaments and he's been holding on to his title, so it will be an interesting clash between two different ideas of what constitutes the best player in the world.
Connecting with your feeling.
What?
I connecting my question to you feeling yourself.
About, I don't know. I think I have, if I'm well prepared and I put pressure on him like I usually do, I think I have every chance to win. So, but I'm sure he'll play the best chess he's played in years, and it will be very interesting.
Thank you.